Hey everyone, Matron here bringing you another StarCraft 2 commentary. This time the game will be between Liquid Tyler, aka NonY, and seleCT. seleCT is spawning as the red Terran in the south spawn position of Lost Temple. Liquid Tyler NonY spawning as the blue Protoss in the north position. This is a losers bracket series from MLG DC. Liquid Tyler was just sent to the losers bracket by Huck. seleCT had been sent to the losers bracket by NonY earlier on in the tournament, and seleCT has gone through LZ Gamer, TT1, QXC, and then Slush to make his way to round 8 in the losers bracket. So these two players will play for a chance to play against KiwiKaki in the next round of the losers bracket. Since these players did play in the winners bracket, we'll continue to use those games as part of this series. Liquid Tyler's up 2-1, and this will be a best of 7, so Liquid Tyler needs to win 2 games to get to 4 victories before seleCT can win 3 games to get to 4 victories. So at most this will be a 7-game series. seleCT needs to win 3 out of 4, Liquid Tyler just needs to win 2. So we see the positions here, cross position on Lost Temple, so both players may opt for an early expansion. See, Liquid Tyler is throwing down that, looks like a 10 gateway. He's been using a 10 gateway quite often in this tournament. I did cast the first 3 games of this series, so check my channel, watch those first, and it'll set the stage for this losers bracket matchup. Both players sending out scouts. Standard timing for those scouts. Liquid Tyler is opting for that first zealot. No chrono or cybernetics core right after this gateway, so a lot of times with that early gateway you'll want to throw down the cybernetics core as quickly as possible. Make sure that tech gets up. Now we see the cybernetics core. seleCT is opting for just the 1 barracks at the moment and throwing a tech lab onto that barracks after he put out this marine. The marine's again going to deny scouting from that probe. NonY does not want to lose that probe. He can use it later on after those shields recharge. The zealot is going to duel with seleCT's SCV. Looks like he's going to let the SCV into the base and push out with this zealot to perhaps take on this 1 marine. We do see concussive shell being researched and a Reaper now coming out for seleCT. We saw seleCT use these Reapers effectively in the first 3 games for early scouting, as he's able to hop up into Liquid Tyler's base. We have a Stalker being chronoed out by NonY, so that's going to deny any more SCV scouting. The Zealot's going to come in and quickly be taken out by this Reaper. The Reaper's much faster than the Zealot and does extra damage versus light. Going to do 9 damage versus 4. So the Zealot was not able to get in here and get any kills. He was going for this mule, but seleCT doing a good job fending that off, and now going to throw down a command center. So very early command center, only at 25 food, and he's going to do that after the scout of NonY has left. So NonY may be late on his expansion, does not know that seleCT has thrown down that command center now. We have a 2nd gateway coming up for NonY, and still pushing out stalkers. It looks like this Reaper is doing scouting. Make sure there's no proxy stargates down here. No sort of cheese play. Again, a lot of players since the patch and all the nerfs to Reapers no longer using them offensively, but just using them as great scouts around this map. Going to be able to hop up, down, and make sure there's no sort of cheese, no proxy pylons anywhere. Looks like we do have 2 Marauders and a Marine coming out. Maybe working on this. Well, it looks like they're going to look for cheese as well. So that's something these pro players are really practiced at doing. So we see NonY here, these stalkers spread out, going to deny any sort of scouting by the Reaper. The Reaper cannot hop up anywhere without being spotted by these stalkers and taken down quickly. See the sentry again positioned close to the ramp. It's going to be able to throw down a force field anytime he sees pressure moving up. Again, both players just doing some scouting here. Looks like we have a 3rd gateway being thrown up by NonY. He does have a robotics facility and is pushing out his first observer. We have 4 barracks going on for seleCT now. a reactor going on one of the barracks, and he did do a transfer to this extra command center. Needs to create an orbital command with this. As soon as he gets to the minerals, we'll see if he does. There it is. NonY getting the sense that it's time for him to throw up his expansion as well. If we look at the army tab, pretty even. Neither player is massing much of an army for an early push here, both just working on their economy. So we see Liquid Tyler positioning units back here, whether he expects some sort of Banshee play or maybe a Reaper in the back of his base. He does have this Observer out and did see that Reaper. So this Observer is going to see this expansion here as well, and this small little bio ball. So NonY knows that he's a little bit behind on his expansion, and he's going to try to push out here. He feels like he has the army advantage. He's relatively even, 1050 to 950 minerals. If we look at the income, seleCT has taken the advantage. Now 1400, he's spiking up to those mules compared to 800 for NonY. NonY is just going to show his stalkers there and then back away. Looks like this Observer is going to follow this army, give NonY all the intel he needs on seleCT's movements. Liquid Tyler is pulling back. He might expect seleCT to move out here, and he wants to make sure that the fight is happening on his turf so he can use these warp gates to continuously reinforce his army. No longer using this robotics facility. Might want to see an Immortal pop out just so he can take on this Marauder ball. Just a few Marauders here. Looks like 6 of them. Majority are Marines, but the Marauder is very powerful, kiting with those the concussive shells. NonY is being scanned, and look, we saw seleCT click on one of those units and check for any sort of upgrades. Looks like a bunch of good force fields going down here. They're going to be able to trap the front Marines and this Marauder, but other Marines and Marauders are going to be able to fire from the back. Liquid Tyler needs to move back, really use these force fields. You want to take out the front units and then just leave the back units so they have no range to attack. You can see another round of force fields here. Try to split this army again down the center. Looks like no more force fields, not enough energy to do one. And now we're going to have these sentries focus down. Need to warp in more units on the high ground here and try to take down these Marines and Marauders before they can take down this Nexus. Stim being used. You're going to try to focus down these Stalkers, and now they're going to run away as NonY was able to get up this Colossus. Good timing on that Colossus. If it happened a little bit sooner, he would have been able to push away this attack. Now the Colossus needs to be saved. He needs to pull back there. He did not want to lose that. Perhaps he could have kept the Colossus on the high ground there, but that's a big win for seleCT. He was able to take down that first Colossus. Now he's going to pull back. He knows that he wiped out the majority of NonY's army. These units are going to come in and stim and try to push away these Stalkers. One Stalker down to 10 HP, but was not able to be taken out. See if seleCT is going to use any sort of bunker play to try to push back these Stalkers. Looks like the Stalkers are going to be taken down by these few reinforcing units from seleCT. No bunkers thrown down for defense here. seleCT does feel comfortable. He does have this watchtower, and he's got control of the map. This Observer again coming down. Looks like we had a Reaper hop up into the back of the base of NonY. Not sure it did too much damage there. Might have taken down a probe or two. If we look at the units lost, 3,400 for NonY to 2,800 for seleCT. seleCT now taking down these destructible rocks, may opt to expand here again. He's a little bit ahead on the first expansion. He could possibly be ahead on this third one. Now 1,600 minerals to 1,200 per minute. So we see those mules coming down. Another 4 total mules, going to make this income skyrocket for seleCT as he's still pushing out of these 4 barracks. Now he does have this factory and a starport up. He's going to possibly be able to get out a few Vikings to counter these Colossi, as well as a medevac or 2 to make stim a lot easier for his units. He's going to start out with the Vikings. Like to see him actually start with the medevacs just so they can gain energy. Anytime you have the choice between units with energy and units without, and you want to make both, warp in the ones with energy first. If you're going for a Phoenix Void Ray, pop the Phoenix out first. Looks like seleCT is going to move out. Should wait for these Vikings before he does. Now 2 Colossi up. Liquid Tyler is he's pinched in his base here. He's contained by seleCT. seleCT does have map control. He has this tower. He's got this second tower with a Marine, and he's expanded to this gold expansion. If Liquid Tyler does not push out soon and try to take this map back, he is going to fall behind. as seleCT gets on 3 bases. Now we see the Vikings moving out. See another 2 Vikings in production, so seleCT is not going for any sort of medevacs here. So these units are going to have to be careful as they stim. Needs to position these Colossus up top here so they're out of range of the units on the ground unless the Vikings are up there supporting. seleCT just continuously reinforcing his army here, now up to 3,100 to 2,700 for NonY. NonY has these 3 Colossus. As this battle takes place, we're going to see the micro between the Vikings and the Colossus. These Stalkers are going to try to take down those few Vikings, and the Colossus are going to do their work on the Marines and Marauders. We see a nice spread being prepared by seleCT here. If any sort of battle happens, we see the concave already set up for seleCT, though he is losing it a little bit as he retreats here. And now he's going to turn around and engage right here. These Vikings are going to focus down. 1 Colossus needs to be microed to the back. Instead, these Vikings are going to go down to NonY. 3 Vikings go down, so he's able to focus down with those Stalkers. Here come the medevacs, and now seleCT's going to have to retreat and try to engage again. Once he's got a good concave, he does right here. All the Vikings are down, so now he's going to try to use these Colossi to take down the Marines and Marauders. The Marines and Marauders are going to focus down the Colossi best they can, but while they do, all these Stalkers are just going to be doing damage. seleCT may be able to recover here. No, it does not look like he's going to be able to. The Stalkers are too much, taking down that medevac now with reduced speed after this latest patch. And NonY's going to be able to come in here, see this planetary fortress. Not sure he's going to be able to take it on. He needs to spread these units so the splash damage does not take out these Stalkers. Perhaps can move into this base here as it's only an orbital command. But he needs to get a forward pylon, another Colossus coming in. The more Vikings are coming in for seleCT. Vikings are just going to do damage as soon as this Colossi gets here. So Liquid Tyler needs to pull back as his Stalker count very low. He's not going to be able to take on these Vikings. This Colossus needs to retreat as fast as he can. The stim, we will see a stim here as he catches up, and he's going to pick off these Stalkers. This Colossus getting caught between these Marauders and the Vikings on the high ground, providing sight. And seleCT can move forward now. If we see the Army tab, 1,500 to 525. NonY is just now establishing this 3rd base. If seleCT is smart, he needs to pick that off quickly before it can get quite established. He is checking for this gold expansion first. He does not see it. He may get the sense that NonY's 3rd base is either in one of these 2 spots. Looks like he's sending an SCV scout right now, and again keeping an SCV all over the map, making sure there's no other expansions. Now taking his 4th expansion. NonY needs to push out and take this 3rd base and protect it. Out come a few Stalkers and Colossus here, but seleCT is just going to be able to take down this base. Another 2 gateways being put in front of this Nexus, perhaps even to just serve as a barrier. But that pylon being taken down, and now the Nexus is going to be forced to cancel by NonY. Does he cancel it? He does right there. These Nexus or gateways are going to finish though. Finally, these Colossus come in. A few Vikings in the back going to do work on these Colossi if they can get close enough. Colossi being focused down by these Marauders and the Vikings, and the first Colossi going to go down right there. The other one retreating, trying to save itself. These few Stalkers are able to take down that Viking. Looks like we have some long distance mining about to happen by these probes, as NonY is almost mined out in his main. His natural still doing pretty well, but seleCT now establishing his 4th base. If we look at the income tab, 1,700 and 900. So seleCT's taking quite the advantage. He's got map control. He's got both towers. As we see a small army here, the Vikings are going to try to focus down this Colossus, and NonY knows that he has no 3rd base, and he's just pinched in here, contained completely by seleCT. seleCT's done a great job with his Marine Marauders all game to keep pressure up, and he just controlled the map the entire time. So seleCT does even the series, now 2-2, so it's just down to a best of 3 between these 2 players. First one to 2 wins is going to move on in the losers bracket and play Kiwikaki. So look forward to casting the 5th game of this series. That'll be coming up next. I'll see you there.